Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about rational choice theory. Now, rational choice theory is going to feel a lot like exchange theory in the sense that rational choice also has a very, very simplified, oversimplified, really, version of human nature in it. But that's okay. Like we saw with exchange theory, at least I tried to persuade you, it's worth it to strip away some of the details sometimes, not pretend they don't exist, but strip them away and focus on something that is simpler in order to elucidate human interactions. In this case, in the case of rational choice, over this video and the next one, I'm going to make the argument that it allowed James Coleman to actually come close to constructing a macro level theory of society. And that crucial to that was stripping away the details and having just an oversimplified version of human nature. So let's get into it. Social exchange theory, to kind of contextualize what we're talking about, says that social interactions are based on this system of punishments and rewards, and people are trying to maximize rewards. And so you see people are simplified in the sense that they are driven for rewards. Rational choice is similar in the sense that it says individuals use logical calculations to make rational choices in order to achieve their personal goals. So again, there's not a lot of meaning and stuff in the world. It is, I am an individual, I have a personal goal. We can see a little bit of symbolic interactionism in that because it's what is meaningful to me. But then at that point, I become a rational actor. I make logical calculations based on choices, to make rational choices. So it's not like a really deep model of human nature, but as we'll see, James Coleman is going to say, yes, that's true, but I think we could rebuild society based on this. It is a kernel of truth that is really, really useful. So think of rational choices, simplified version of human nature, as a useful truth. Not the whole truth, but a useful one. All right, the way it works. There are actors, there's information, and there are resources. Leave social institutions for right now. So you look at the world at 6 a.m. when everybody wakes up, and what you see are actors. You and me, we're people. And we have end goals. So we wake up and we are driven toward those, toward whatever our personal goals are. We rationally choose we rationally make choices as we go through our day to pursue those goals. But what to pursue and how to pursue it depend on information. Information in this model, the quantity and the quality of information are variable. Different people have different amounts of information. And so that information has a huge effect on people's choices. People with more and better information are better able to make rational choices that are going to lead them to their ends. A person who doesn't have great information or has good information but not a lot of it is handicapped in this way, is not able to rationally make choices that will move them toward their goals as easily. You can think about this as, say there's a person who doesn't know that colleges exist, but they want to be a doctor. Now, that is their goal, that is their personal goal, it's meaningful to them, but because they lack that piece of information, they're not able to move toward that goal as easily, even if they are rationally trying to make decisions. In that situation, they might like hang out at hospitals and ask people for if they can watch them do their medical practice or whatever. That would be rational choices without that crucial bit of information about medical schools. That's obviously a pretty manufactured example, but hopefully it clarifies what I mean about information. Okay, so You've got actors, you've got varying levels of information, varying amounts of information, varying qualities of information that they use. The other thing that they have is resources. And resources can be lots of things. Money is a resource. Having high quality sources of information is a resource. And this also affects people's ability to go from point A, I wake up, to point B, whatever my goal is. I'm going to make rational choices along the way. But if, let's say, I know about medical schools, but I don't have the money to be able to apply to them, well, then I have got to make a set of rational choices based on that lack of resources that a person who is born into a wealthy family doesn't have to make. They have other rational choices that they can make, and it comes from different levels of resources at the beginning. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for this. Okay, so actors acting on information make rational choices and use the resources available to do it. And what a rational choice theorist would say then is people with more and better information and more resources are better able to get themselves toward their goals. Now, where social institutions enter into it, social institutions need to be defined, first of all, and I'm going to give you a very basic definition of social institutions. We're going to define for our class social institutions as patterned ways to meet our needs. Patterned ways to meet human needs. That's the way I define it in my intro course. And what that means is social institutions are not organizations exactly. They are a way of doing things, a set of norms. So when we think about the economy is a social institution, a patterned way of meeting our need to get the food and the shelter that we need. In our society, the patterned way you do that is you go to school, get a job, work at that job, somebody pays you money, you then take it to the grocery store, and that is the social institution of the economy. Importantly, it's a different economy than existed when we were just after the agricultural revolution, when we were farming for ourselves. A different economy, a different patterned way of meeting needs than when we were hunter-gatherers as well. Rational choice theorists say, so what this is the one piece that has been missing up until now, is that you can't just go and act any way you want based on information and resources. I'm hungry. That doesn't mean that if I don't have food at my house, I can just walk into my neighbor's house and take the food that they have. There is a social institution of economy that tells me this is the way that we do it, and if you don't do it that way, you're going to get arrested. You can't just walk over to your neighbor's house and take their food. So social institutions are patterned ways of meeting our needs, but they also provide positive and negative sanctions. So those patterned ways exist within society, and if you go along with them, you get rewards. And if you go against them, you get negative sanctions. So in my case, you end up probably going to prison. Those social institutions, in addition to constraining our behavior in the way that I just described, by rewarding or punishing, they also restrict the choices that are available to actors. So my goal is to be rich. I have information about how I can do that. I have resources that can help me to do it. And I have social institutions that limit the ways that I try to do it. If I try to do it by selling drugs, I might be able to do it. I know informationally that that's a way that I can make money. I can acquire the resources to sell drugs, but the social institution of the economy says that that is something that is not allowed in the legal marketplace. And the social institution of government, our patterned way of meeting the need for order in society, will, if they catch me, they will find me and arrest me and put me in jail, and then I don't make my goals. So my choices are constrained by the existence of the social institution. Okay, that's it for rational choice. Actors pursuing their goals based on the information they have, that affects how they do it. The resources they have affect how they do it, and the social institutions that exist within society affect how people do it. Something I like about rational choice, obviously, it has it has oversimplified human nature. There's nothing about love in this, for example. But what they do have going for it is a very a very simple, a very clear way of thinking about it, and there is agency. I'm not just reacting based on other people. I'm not just reacting based on the meanings that exist within the world. I am going out and living the life the way I want to live it. And yes, it's an oversimplification, but there's again a degree of truth in this. Um, where we are going to go in the next video is it's going to be kind of a video that bridges the week on everyday theories of everyday life and the theories that are supposed to kind of bridge the gap between micro and macro, the integrating theories that we have in the next week. And that is going to be James Coleman's idea of what if we reconstructed society based on the truth that exists in rational choice theory. Again, it's a narrow truth, but James Coleman, a sociologist of the late 20th century, said, you know, I think we actually, though, if we just use this kernel of truth, we might be able to make a more egalitarian and fair society. In the next video, I'll explain how that works.